friends, and welcome to the Happy Hour with Jamie Ivey podcast. I'm your host, Jamie, and I am so excited that you're here. Each week, I invite a girlfriend to join me on the show, and we chat about the big things in life, the little things in life, and everything in between. If you're a longtime listener or if you're new to the Happy Hour, I want to mention the Christmas special that I did a few weeks ago with Jen Hatmaker. Make sure you listen to that episode in the last few days before Christmas, because beyond having some really great gift ideas, the episode itself holds so much goodness. I super encourage you to check out episode number 63 if you haven't. One of this episode's sponsors is Mad Marketplace. And you guys, the vision of Mad Marketplace is so simple: to create a global consumer movement that matters. They're not just words. We want the difference we make to be global, they say. They want consumers to know of ways to be good stewards when they shop. Mad Marketplace launched an online retail store on November 1st. Who says shopping and making a difference don't go together? There are clearly more problems around us than there are solutions. As consumers, we can choose to buy differently and be a part of the solution. The mission of Mad Marketplace is to tell stories and to sell products and to help people. As consumers, we're always shopping and do much of it online. Mad Marketplace wants to cater to online shopping by creating a shopping experience that provides a wide variety of unique and practical products. Tell the incredible stories behind each of them and provide a simple way for everyone to help others. Mad Marketplace's products give back in different ways. Some examples include buy one, give one, proceeds that participate in micro-lending, sustainable living wages, empowering women, meal for meal, drop for drop, and restoring hearing. No matter what you buy, every purchase has a purpose. Check out themadmarketplace.com and be ready to make a difference this Christmas. And just for Happy Hour listeners, they're offering 25% off with the code MADHappyHour25. Guys, you're listening to episode number 66, and today's guest is Amanda Jones. And let me just tell you that you're going to love my conversation with Amanda. Amanda is a Jesus-loving Texas girl who's married to a preacher boy from Missouri. Together they have 3 kids, and they have a 4-year-old church that they planted with their friends outside of Houston. Today we talk about baby bangs. Don't worry, it's going to make sense in a minute. We talked about the good and bad of ministry life and what kind of perspective you have to bring to it. And Amanda has basically been living in ministry her entire life. Her mom is Beth Moore, and she's married to a preacher. So she has a lot of great wisdom on this. We talked about adoption, the emotions, and sometimes the messiness that comes in with domestic adoption, and how to learn from lessons and gain strength from our trials that we go through. She just has a lot of wisdom on life, and she is one of the most beautiful people I've ever met, inside and out. Guys, you're going to love it. Here is my conversation with Amanda Jones. Hey, Amanda, welcome to the Happy Hour.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so glad you're here, and I have to start with 2 funny stories to tell you,
Okay.
and they're both about you.
Okay.
So this should be fun, right? So the first one, I just sat down, and I was about to call you to chat with you, and I was like, I'm going to pull up her blog real quick, because just in case, I'm going to look at it, have it here. So I just typed in, you may have done this or know this, I just typed in baby bangs.
Yes.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Okay,
I do.
and so your blog is what? Say it out loud.
It's babybangs.blogspot.com.
Okay, so that's you. But if you just
Yes.
type in baby bangs and then you click on the first thing,
Uh-huh.
there is actually a product out there that you can buy
Yes.
that is a ready-to-wear hairstyle headband for your baby
Yes.
girl.
For babies.
If she doesn't have any hair, like most babies don't, you can buy
Right.
a wig for her.
It's special. I don't even know what to
You
say.
knew about this.
Well, I think that came out after I had my blog already. I don't think that I knew about that whenever I named my blog. So
It says
my blog is 9.5 years old now. So
it says the hair plus the band has been made using only the finest ribbons and fabrics, plus our baby bangs come to you pre-customized and size appropriate, cut, styled, and ready for immediate wear.
oh man, it's just very interesting, isn't it?
It's very interesting, and there's the cutest baby on here, and she's adorable without hair, and then the next picture next to her, she's got a full head of hair. I'm like, this is so crazy.
I don't even know what to say.
No.
I really don't.
Okay, so if you're pregnant and you're about to have a baby girl, would you
Yes,
buy a
we're
baby girl wig for
We're
her?
having baby bangs round 3 for me, but no, I am not purchasing baby bangs ever. That will never happen.
So where does your blog, Baby Bangs, come from?
I started it right after my son was born, and back in 2006, in March of 2006, and I had I think it just had a different name. I think it was Jackson Jones .blogspot.com or something like that. And later I changed it, but it was because when you lose all your hair, like when you're pregnant, your hair doesn't fall out for a long time, and your hair is glorious and thick. And then a few months after birth, it starts falling out. And so, like, right around your hairline, or at least for me, is where a lot of it fell out. And then when it started growing back, I had these tiny little bangs that
You
were
have baby
growing in.
bangs.
Yeah, so baby bangs, and I remember being excited because I would see a picture of Katie Holmes,
Uh-huh.
who had Surrey around the same time that I had Jackson, and she had baby bangs, and I was like, "See, it's like a real thing."
It's normal. I have another girlfriend here now that you say that that wore a headband for like
She
literally the
did,
first year of her daughter's life, and that's what she told me
really.
why. Yeah.
Yeah, yep, it's a thing. So round 3 is coming up for me soon.
Round three's coming up with the baby bangs, and you do
Yep.
have beautiful hair.
Oh well, thank you.
Yeah, and so yeah, you do have that. Okay, so my second funny story about you.
Okay.
This must have happened. We must have been emailing about coming on the show or something. I don't know why you were on my mind, but I had a dream that I went to breakfast with you and your husband Curtis, which I've met one time, and your
Uh huh.
mom, and
Okay.
we had breakfast tacos in Houston. That was
That's
my dream.
awesome.
I was like, I woke up and I'm like, that's so random. Like, I've only, I've only met
That's
you
so
once. Is that
funny.
correct?
Um, I think I think I met you once in Houston, and then I would have seen you
Mm.
at that first if
Yes,
thing
yes, yes,
a
yes.
couple years
I always
ago.
forget about that
So,
thing.
but I don't think that we like talked in depth at that at all.
Right. Yeah.
So you do need to come to Houston and have breakfast tacos with me and my husband and my mother.
I would love that. And do y'all, I mean, so here's people always ask about Texas and they're like breakfast tacos because we claim in Austin to have the best ones, right? Like
Okay.
we claim to be the best at everything here in Austin.
Okay.
We're kind of prideful like that. But I grew up in Houston. But Amanda, I don't remember breakfast tacos being such a thing until I moved back here.
Okay.
Is
I don't
you're from
remember
Houston,
having,
so tell me what
yeah,
your
okay.
memory is.
Yes, I love breakfast tacos, but I don't remember having them as a kid. I think that I got introduced to breakfast tacos when I was in college, and my friend taught me about at 11 o'clock at night you could get taquitos at Whataburger.
Yes.
And in college, that's everything.
Yeah.
So that was my like introduction to breakfast tacos, and I still love a taquito from Whataburger like so much.
Who doesn't,
Um,
especially at 11 o'clock at night?
I know, and now supposedly you can't get them late at night anymore, and it's devastating.
That is devastating
Uh,
to all colleges around
it's
Texas.
terrible. It's terrible. So, but we do. I love breakfast tacos, and I think we have pretty good ones in Houston. But I have not been to Austin in a really long time to just like eat, which is my impression of what you do when you go to Austin is
It's
you
what
eat
we
all the
do,
good food.
right? Yeah.
So I will have to, I'll keep an open mind that maybe Austin has a leg up on us,
Man.
but we have Houston is so big, so it's
Yeah.
kind of like,
It's like
I
seven
feel like
Austins. Yeah.
we have a pretty good chance of having the best ones somewhere in this city.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, that was my dream, which was just hilarious, but I would love to come have breakfast with your family.
please do.
Yes. And so your family, you have a sister
I do.
who lives in Houston, right? I'm guessing.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
And
Her name
then
is Melissa.
Melissa, which she too has beautiful hair. Y'all have like
She
beautiful hair,
You're
sisters.
sweet. She has gorgeous, gorgeous, like really dark, beautiful hair.
Yeah. And then your mom and dad, people might not know your mom, people will probably know who she is Beth Moore.
Uh-huh. That's right.
So you grew up. Now, but speaking, I have a question about this. Growing up with your mom as Beth Moore,
Okay.
um, which you can just tell her a little personal story from me. I'm
Okay.
sure that you hear this all the time, and so I'm sorry if this is annoying.
It doesn't bother me.
Okay, but when I think from the small conversations we have, we might have some of the same similar stories, you and I. So
Okay.
when I was growing up, I grew up in the church. Thought I would have called myself a believer, but I kind of was a crazy woman for a while. So
Uh-huh.
I'm not putting my story on you, but I was a crazy woman for a while. And I went to Passion when it was in Dallas, and I get confused on the years. I think it might have been like that January of 1999. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So I went to that Passion. I was in college, and I was not following Jesus, but really like struggling with this inner turmoil of like, I feel like I'm missing something, but
Yeah.
I would have called myself a Christian, but I just felt this void. Anyhow,
Yeah.
at that Passion, I sat in that arena, and your mom spoke, and I don't even think I knew who she was. And
Yeah.
I wish I could remember what she talked about, but I felt as if she was looking at me. You know, it was one of those
Oh,
moments. We all
yeah.
have those when we're in like some kind of situation and someone's talking and you're like, are you talking to me? Like this is,
Yes.
and I
Uh-huh.
felt like she was talking to me. And it was from that passion experience that God really started moving in my life.
That's
I
awesome.
know.
I
So kudos
love
to
that so
Passion.
much.
I mean, they do amazing things.
I know they
Jeez.
are just tremendous. And
Yeah.
I have a similar, Passion 98 I went to with my mom. She drugged me there kicking and screaming. It was in Austin.
So how
And
old were you then?
I was a senior in high school and I
Okay, so
didn't
I'm a
I
few
didn't
years
know
older
what
than
it
you.
was. And she just did a breakout session that year. She wasn't on the main stage.
Okay.
But I got there and I never have seen so many, college students, worshiping God. And it was so impactful. And I wanted to walk with God so much after that. And then I got home and like, it was like the enemy was waiting for me to come home. And just the things that occurred after that were very unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
Not funny. I don't know why I'm laughing.
No, I understand. Yeah.
It was a really dark time,
Yeah.
and then by the time I actually got to college in the fall to A&M, the Lord helped me and started to walk with some victory. It's a long time coming. Things don't
Mm-hmm.
change overnight.
That's
And then
exactly right.
I remember all Passion 99. I remember all of the passions after that, like different kind of strides that I would have made by that
Mm-hmm.
one. So
And your mom
what
was a main stage speaker at that, or was I in a breakout?
she was a
Okay.
main stage speaker in 99.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep, she was.
So, my husband's a pastor, your husband's a pastor. You grew up with your mom in ministry, and I don't know what her ministry looked like in that time because I don't think I was
Yeah,
aware of your mom's ministry until the following year, even after that.
sure.
When you grew up, was she doing ministry? I'm assuming not like
Yes,
now, but was she doing ministry?
she was. She would leave every other weekend and go speak at some kind of women's retreat
Mm-hmm.
or something like that. And my dad would be home with my sister and me. And she taught a Sunday school class forever, as long as I can remember, on Sundays. And that class was quite big. So she taught a Sunday school class at our church it was pretty big. And I always knew that my mom, like people treated her in a special way. I knew there was something really special about her. And so I had that awareness from the time I was really little. And, our family was a little bit unconventional. And then by the time I got to college, she was doing like big events with Lifeway
Okay.
and
Mm-hmm.
was kind of doing these regional events. And so she was, when I got to A&M, like a lot of people knew who I was and they knew who she was.
How was
And
that walking in
it
as a
was
freshman?
weird.
Oh
Yeah,
my
it was
gosh.
weird.
Yeah.
But so the ministry had started to kind of enlarge at
Mm-hmm.
that point, but it sort of grew up with me.
Yeah.
So it wasn't, I think that my sister and I always lived in a fishbowl a little bit, but when it got pretty intense, like I was already in college.
Yeah. Okay. And are
So
you older or younger than your sister?
I'm older.
Okay. So you're married to a pastor. I'm married to a pastor. You grew up with your mom in ministry. Do you ever because I think about this. I don't know if you think about this. I always think about like, am I raising my kids well with parents
Yes.
that do ministry? Like,
Yeah.
oh, I just like, because sometimes I feel like Aaron and I swing the complete opposite where we're like,
Yeah.
because we don't want our kids to kind of like have grudges against the church or that. And I've started traveling, like that. And are they going to hate that their mom did that? And their dad's out of town. I mean, it's just like all these things
Yeah.
that you think about. How do you and Curtis deal with that?
Well, that's something on my mind a lot. And my kids will have pressures being actual pastor's kids that I didn't have
That's true. Hmm.
as a ministry kid. But I do understand the sacrifice that you share your parent with people.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have a good attitude about that, and some days you just don't feel like sharing.
Hmm.
I'm 35 years
Yeah.
old, and some days I don't want to share my mom, but some days it's my great joy
Right.
to know that I have gotten to be part of something bigger than our family,
It's
something
true.
really cool that God has done. And it's really humbling and so awesome.
You know, when you
So,
say that, it makes me think. And I don't know if you've done this. I've gone through seasons when I've been like, man, I don't want to share my husband.
yeah,
You know,
yes.
he's not traveling as much as he has before in the past, but I'm like, man, I wish that you were home with us on a Sunday. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like those kind of things.
yeah,
But you're right. You get to like, some days you feel that way, and other days you're like, wow, how gracious is God that he lets us be a part of this.
yeah, yes, exactly.
I remember
Exactly.
I read something one time about Billy Graham and his wife, and how, you know, back in the day, I mean, there was no like cell phone, no Instagram, no Skype, nothing. Billy Graham was on the road and on the
Yeah,
road, you know, no
yep,
contact with his family, not like we have now. And I remember reading that she used to tell her kids, like, because I'm sure that there were struggles with a dad
yeah,
that's gone. And
sure.
she used to tell her kids, like, what a great joy that God chose your daddy to do
Yeah,
this and that we get to be
yep,
a part of that. And so
yeah,
I've told my kids that often, like, what a great joy that, like, God chose your dad, or, you know, our
yeah.
family. And I think when I'm telling them that, I'm also preaching to myself, you know?
Yes. And I think it's our responsibility as mom and wife to like we're always observing and we're kind of living in that tension of yes, this is our ministry, but we also, you know, when we see that the kids' tanks are getting empty, like we speak up and say, okay, we need to buckle down.
Yeah.
We need to be at home more this week, or we
Yep.
need quality time with each of the kids.
Yeah.
So I try to be pretty vigilant about that. And I read a book by Barnabas Piper, who's John Piper's son, last year. It was actually on my time hop today, which is pretty funny.
That's
Uh, he wrote a book called The Pastor's Kid,
okay.
and he interviewed a ton of like ministry kids, and so the whole book, it really was eye opening, and it made me sad at different parts, and it made me laugh and kind of encouraged me at different parts too. But I would definitely recommend it for anyone in ministry that has kids.
That's good. That's really good, because it is something that we have to think about.
Yes.
Do your kids understand the gravity of your mom's ministry?
No,
Yeah,
they
they're
don't.
so young. It's
No.
just like grandma.
Yeah, they kind of get it a little. Well, they understand that there's something special and different about her. Just like, you know, if we're at the mall together, or if she has them somewhere, sometimes people will come up and try to visit with her, and they notice that,
Yeah.
and she tries to kind of let those experiences be very brief whenever the kids are around.
Yeah.
But they definitely kind of know um, that there's something, and they I let them watch one of her Bible study videos with
Oh,
me
that's
for
fun.
minutes at a time, and I think it was one where she was talking about them, and they just totally ate that up and
I'm
loved
sure they
it.
thought that was awesome. I
They
have
did,
some kids that, like, I have one kid that would love it if I talked about him all the time on the
sure,
show, and that Aaron
yeah,
mentioned all the time. And then I have another one that's like, please don't say my name. Please don't say
yeah,
my name. It's so funny. It's
yes,
really, really funny. Okay, so
yep,
you and your husband Curtis, y'all
yes.
live in which part of Houston? North of Houston?
We live in Northwest Houston.
Okay, yeah. And y'all have planted a church 4 years ago,
Yes.
which I've never done that, but I hear that's like one of the hardest things in the entire world.
It's pretty hard. But, you know, pastoring a church that already exists has its own challenges. So either way, you have challenges. You just kind of, which set of challenges would you like to have is kind
Which,
of,
exactly, that's a good way to look at it. It's going to
yeah,
be hard no matter what.
yes,
Yeah. Okay, so y'all planted this church, Bayou City Fellowship, is that right?
yep,
I love it. And I think I have some friends that, well, the Parkers,
uh-huh,
Deborah Parker, who's been on my show and is a friend of yours and mine,
yes,
go there. Who's
yes.
y'all's worship pastor?
Um, our worship pastor is Micah Dean,
Okay.
and he leads every week at Spring Branch. That was our first campus, and then our second campus to open up is in Cypress. And Robbie C is our
Oh, we
worship
love
pastor.
Robbie. Yeah.
Yeah, Robbie's awesome.
That's great. Yeah, Aaron really likes Robbie a lot as well. Okay, so y'all have this church that you planted. You have two kids. And then do you care if we talk about what went on last year?
No, I don't.
Okay, well, let's talk about that. So
Okay.
Tell me exactly what led you and Curtis towards adoption.
Um, well, we had, I have always had a heart for adoption, but I had a lot of fear for a long time. And I remember I started reading your blog, Jamie, like years ago. I
Probably with
mean,
all the
and
adoption talk, huh?
yes,
Yeah.
all of it. Yeah, for sure. And we had an experience in my family growing up that I had a brother for 7 years, and we didn't like legally adopt him. It was like a family kind of
I
situation.
didn't know that.
Yeah, and so he was there for 7 years, and then he went back to live with his birth mom. And so I won't get into all of that, but it was really difficult. And so I had a heart for adoption, but I had some like pretty big scars.
Yeah. How old were you
And
when that
I
went down?
was I was like fourth or fifth grade when he came to live with us, and then I was a junior in high school when he
Okay, so
left.
you're a big kid. I mean, you remember
Yeah,
this, you have
yes,
feelings, you got,
I
yeah.
remember
Okay.
all of it
Yeah.
very well. Yeah. So, and about the time that he was 4 years old when he came to live with us, and so when Jackson turned four, somehow in my mind, like that was triggering me all the time,
Hmm.
and I thought about it a lot. It was really on my heart, and but I was also afraid. And so anyway, just over the next few years, I think I got some confidence as a mother, and I thought, and also I became really close friends with our women's pastor who has several adopted children, and my fears started to go away, and we wanted to add to our family. We actually started to try, I guess 3 years ago, almost to add to our family biologically. And then it was really weird because the night that I found out that I wasn't pregnant, which wasn't a big deal, it was like the first month that we
Yeah.
were trying. I was not pregnant. I knew that night, but then I got a text from my best friend saying, "Hey, have you guys thought about adoption before?" And I was like, "Well, the Lord has heard from me about this many times." I said, "Is there a baby? Are you talking about, is there a baby right now that you know of that needs a home?" And
Mm-hmm.
she said, "Yes, there is." And so I couldn't sleep that whole night. I was like, "Lord, are you in this, or is this something that you want us to look into?" And so I basically stayed up all night praying. And by the morning, like a mother's heart is just so, um, I don't even know the word, but I was ready to go. And
Yeah.
my husband was like, "Okay, well, we'll walk through the door until it closes,
Mm-hmm.
if it closes." So for a few days, we were talking about this little one, and the door did close a few days later. But by then, my heart was like, "Okay, I would like to adopt."
Okay.
Domestically a newborn. I
Mm-hmm.
had faith for that. I don't think that I had really the faith at that time for like an international adoption or
Mm-hmm.
foster care, but this was something that I could be comfortable with. Um, so we ended up knowing about an agency that needed families.
Mm-hmm.
They really needed families at that time, and so we went through the process of applying and doing all the things that you have to do. So that was basically February through August, and then in August we were matched with a mom who
Mm-hmm.
was expecting, and that's when things got very interesting. And so we walked with her for about 6 weeks, I think.
And you
And
met
so,
her and
yes, we had many meetings with her and loved her very much.
mm-hmm.
And it was really like the Lord um, gave us a love, like a sisterly, like I felt like she was my younger sister.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it was a neat time, and just a time of walking by faith, like in a crazy way.
Yeah.
Like I
Because
never
those are
before.
those are awkward meetings. Those are
Yes.
awkward conversations,
Yes.
It's just
Hard.
the whole thing about it is difficult. And so it is like you need God's grace through the whole thing.
Right, right. And I knew that I could be really hurt. But it was like, okay, well, you can't really protect yourself. You can be wise, but you can't really protect your heart. So I just was trusting that Jesus was going to heal my heart if I got hurt in this. Um, so the baby was born in October, and I was there
In the
for
room?
the birth. I was there, and she wanted me to be there, and so I was there, and I spent, basically 2 days in the hospital with her and the baby. And then my birthday was that Monday, and I showed up at the hospital and was there for a few minutes, and then basically the social worker came and told my husband and I to leave the hospital, and that she needed space to think, and then it was like over.
That was it.
Yeah, that was it, and I could not have imagined how painful that was going to be. Not only the loss of that baby, the dream of that baby being in our family that we had been holding for 2 days, and anticipating for 6 weeks, but also the relationship with her, with the mom, who we both loved very much and I felt really close to. So it was really hard. And then my husband was like, we're out, we're not doing this ever again. And, I had a nursery upstairs with like diapers and wipes ready to go, like an open package of diapers ready to go. And for my husband to say, we're not doing this ever again, like it's over.
Did he mean adoption or babies?
Yes, adoption.
Okay.
He said, you can have a biological child, but like, I could not wrap my mind around going from like, okay, we're ready to bring a baby home from the hospital to like then being pregnant. Right. For 9 months. Yeah. Like I just couldn't make that transition at that time.
So can we go back real quick to the hospital real quick?
Yeah.
The last time that you left, and then when you showed up, how was that like? So, I mean, the emotions of, because domestic adoption is hard because this is her baby, and until she says it's not her baby, it's her baby. Right. And we value that. And I hear you that you love her and you value that.
Yes.
But we can't negate the emotions that were there for you. Yes. Like, I mean, I think that I just want to be clear for everyone that you and I both are on the same page of this is her child, but your emotions.
You
can't change your emotions.
No. She had every right to decide to parent her child.
100%.
100%. And I never would have, argued with that. In fact, I remember seeing the bond between her and the baby, and it was extremely sobering for me. And I thought, how can this child be my child? Like when I'm seeing this. So I know that would have been something that I would have had to grapple with if she had placed him with us. Yeah. But yes, so emotionally, and I fully acknowledge that like her pain, the amount of pain that I went through in the coming months was it was awful. But what birth moms would go through, like when they place their babies, I cannot even imagine how much pain that is. It definitely would have been more than what I was experiencing, like no question about that.
I've always said that too. We have one child through domestic adoption, and I remember when he was placed with us, we had a 22-month-old. So I had just I had just done this birthing nursing thing. And I remember thinking, golly, this has to be the hardest thing that this person will ever do in their entire world.
Totally.
The hardest thing. And so, okay, so you show up and they ask you to leave. And did you know then that it's over, or did you know, she needs some time?
We did not know right away. The social worker was coming in to visit with her and asked us to go into the waiting room. And so, we just thought this is like a normal chat that they have to have. And it was. But then she came to see us in the waiting room and said, I need you to leave the hospital now. And so
was
then
she
we
mean about it, or just like, hey?
She was firm.
Okay.
She was not, she was not trying to be friendly. It was hard. It was kind of a hard moment. So we left, and it's my birthday.
Oh my gosh, Amanda.
I don't even know. It was hard. So we waited for a few hours. We didn't speak on the way home. Like we went to pick up our kids from my friend's house, and we didn't even know what to say. And so then it was like maybe later that day or the next day that we got a call from our agency, that it was what was really going on.
Okay.
And then we knew it was over. So
And then did you ever see the mom again?
I have not seen her again, but we communicate, and that is a gift. So I really value that it took a while for that to happen. It took a few months. But we do communicate, and I have gotten to see pictures of that little one and be able to encourage her and just continue to love on her. And I still feel, like we have a bond that
What a gift. Yes.
is weird.
Yeah,
It's weird. I mean, I was with her during the birth of her child. So like I told her, you kind of are not going to be able to get rid of me very easily.
yeah. Yeah.
We've had this weird experience together, but
It's so
I
true.
know, I know I have a sweet little baby in my womb right now kicking me. And, at this point, I know that what was supposed to happen happened, and I have peace about it now. It took a while for that peace to come, but
So what were those next couple of months like?
they were terrible.
Would you say like the hardest thing you've ever walked through?
Yeah, for sure. And I had a lot of grief, but my husband didn't. And so that caused a lot of tension between us.
I can imagine.
Tremendous amount. And so we ended up going to counseling in January. So that happened in October, and then we went to counseling in January. And it was so good for us, just incredible for us. And he helped us to kind of get on the same page again. Our counselor did, and he is also a pastor, so he kind of understood that dynamic of our lives.
Yeah.
So, and then eventually we did become open to trying again with adoption.
Y'all did? I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, we tried it actually 2 more times. So,
Okay.
and neither one of those worked out either.
Okay.
So, but they weren't as dramatic as the first, as that time.
What did that time look like for your kids? Because you don't have these little kids that don't understand what's happening in your world. I mean, Jackson, how old is he?
Jackson was very aware of what was happening.
For sure.
He was 7, and my daughter would have been 4. Okay. So my daughter was not as fazed by it, but my son definitely understood what was going on and knew that it was a boy, that baby that we had been in the hospital with. And I did not, I made some mistakes there that I shouldn't have made, and now I know better. But we were much better about protecting them. The next 2 times they didn't know anything.
Gotcha.
They had no idea. But it was very hard to tell my son, like, that baby is not going to be in our family. I will not forget the look on his face when I had to tell him that. But the Lord gave a lot of grace. But they saw me cry a lot.
Yeah.
For probably the next year as we continued to journey through that. And I just have to trust God that somehow that will add to their ability to be compassionate and empathetic with people in life.
Yeah, and I think that is so true. Like walking through hard stuff as a family and as like spouses, when you live in a house, it's kind of hard to hide those things when your kids start getting where they're aware.
Yes.
But I pray those same things. Like, we have some situations in our house, and sometimes I'm just like, God, I trust you that this is not in vain, and I trust you that this is your plan, and I trust you that you use everything to sanctify us and bring you glory. And so I'm asking that for my kids, this is what we need right now.
Yeah.
Oh, so that was hard. And then and so after the 2 adoptions, is that when you were like, and then were y'all open to having more kids biologically? Or was that, I don't mean to ask, like, was it planned?
No,
I hate that question, but you know what I mean?
When the last attempt that we made, when it was over, like, we realized, okay, this is not going to happen for us. Like, for some reason, God is allowing us to be sort of sifted right now through this, and this is not going to happen for us. We just had that sense that we were done. And but I tell you what, I don't want anyone listening to this who wants to adopt or I don't want anyone to be afraid. And if God had that purpose for us, it would have come through no matter what. Mm-hmm. Like, it would have happened. It, for whatever reason, God did not have that for us. Mm-hmm. And so it didn't happen. But so I don't want anyone to be afraid. Yeah. But we knew that we needed to exit that situation. And then it took a few months for me to be able to kind of wrap my mind around having a child biologically. And eventually I did get there, and we were going to see our coworker, who's our kids pastor. She had her first baby on November 11th, and we went up there to see her little baby, and it was so awesome. And we both had this moment at the hospital, like, okay, we could do this again, right. And we want to do this again. And so what's so funny is actually my due date is her birthday.
Oh my gosh.
That little baby's birthday. Isn't that fun?
That is hilarious.
Yeah. So
I love that. And I just heard you when you were talking about if anyone wants to adopt and everything. And I remember you saying that you had so much fear going into this.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that even though you had that fear and then all of this that you went through, do you still feel as though God like healed you of that fear and helped you with that fear, even though the outcome isn't how you thought it would be?
Yeah. I look at that as a victory. Like, Satan does not get to say that he won, mm-hmm. because I did not live in fear of adoption. God actually helped me through that. Mm-hmm. And God helped me through my worst fear, which was, getting my heart split open. Mm-hmm. And he helped me through that too. And he was gracious because it could have really been worse. We could have brought a baby into our home that would have been with us for weeks, mm-hmm. and then the mom changed her mind, which would have been her right to do that. Uh-huh. But he did not allow that to happen. Yeah. And I appreciate that so much with what our family had gone through in our past.
So what would you say? There's bound to be someone listening that has kind of walked a road similar to this. Uh-huh. Those months and that year were just like horrific for you and just emotional. But what were some of the things that helped you get out of bed and mother your kids and put one foot in front of the other? What were some of those things? I played certain songs. I had like a playlist. It was like, I think I called it my playlist for a broken heart. Mm-hmm. And I played these certain songs over and over again. And that was really helpful. And I read some books. Well, I read a book about grief that was amazing. It's called A Grace Disguised by Jerry Sitzer. Okay.
And it was incredible. That was a really helpful book. I learned a lot about grief, which I think is going to serve me pretty well throughout our ministry as leading a church. Yeah, for sure.
The older I get, the more I'm like, I need to learn about grief because it's starting to pop up everywhere around me.
Yeah.
When you're in your 20s, it doesn't seem like a big deal.
Sure.
37, I'm like, there's grieving people all around me.
Yes. Yeah. Every human being has their season of grief.
Yeah.
Or season.
And it's not even from death. I think I used to associate people grieve because of death. But
sure.
You can grieve the loss of of a dream or the loss of anything. You can just, the list is long. So yes. Okay.
Right. Yep. And I had, our families were so supportive, and I have some really close friends who walked through the valley with me, and Deborah Parker was one of them. Mm-hmm. My other friend Krista, and just so many friends, but that would just listen to me when, gosh, I'm sure they were so tired of hearing about it all the time.
That's when you have good friends, when you're saying the same thing over and over again, and they don't ever look at you and be like, Amanda, you need to get yourself together. They just let you do that.
Yes. Yeah, it's incredibly valuable to have that quality in a friend. So,
do you feel like that you and Curtis are stronger together now?
For sure, yes. And whenever we went into the counseling office for the first time, that's a hard moment. It's very humbling to do that.
Yes.
But I would not have believed myself if I had said. If I had appeared to myself and said, you're going to be stronger, a year from now. And I would not have believed myself. But the Lord just did an awesome work between us. And it's just a miracle because there's no explanation for how that happened except just His grace. But we definitely are more unified. the enemy had just come to divide us, and the Lord reunified us. So
I love that. And I know that it is a scary place to walk into a counseling office. I've done that myself, and you're like, I don't need this. I'll be fine. And then you realize, geez, God is so wonderful to give such smart
yes,
people the
yes,
words to tell us
yes,
how much God loves us and what he can do for us. So
totally.
love it. Hey guys, before we get back to the show, I want to tell you about Love with Food. Lovewithfood.com is the easiest way to snack smart and do good. Discover and try the best organic or all-natural snacks delivered to your door for as low as $10 a month membership fee. They also have gluten-free membership available as well. For every box that they send, at least a meal is donated to feed hungry children in America. To date, Love with Food has donated more than 700,000 meals. What are you gifting this holiday season? What about a gift that gives back? Love with Food snack subscription is a great way to try and discover new and all-natural snacks delivered to your door monthly. It's a great gift that keeps on giving. Use code LOVEJamie to save $5 on any subscription plan today. Go to lovewithfood.com. Why not give Love with Food this holiday season for a gift? It's a gift that keeps on giving. All right, guys, back to the show. Okay, well, let's talk about this. You're having a baby.
Yep, having a baby.
So by the time this airs, I think you will have already had the baby. But
Yes.
tell me, like, do you have a birth plan? Are you one that's like natural? Do you have a playlist, some special candles? Tell me what birth looks like for you.
No, I can't stand candles. I have like an allergy to candles.
Okay.
So I have many candles in my house, but they never get lit.
Therefore,
So
like, just they look good.
yeah, they look good, and I can smell them a little bit if I put my nose down in there, but like I don't need to smell the candles. I'm an epidural girl, so but this baby right now has been breech basically the whole pregnancy.
Okay.
So I don't know what's going to go down.
Is she still breech?
She's still breech, and I'm 32 weeks.
Okay.
So this is definitely a different ball game for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't they do like all kinds of crazy things where they just do some ungodly amount of pushing on your belly and the baby flips? Like I've seen it done and it looks
that
like
is an option. Yes.
that looks miserable
yes.
for the mom and the baby.
Yes, I watched a video and I was horrified by that. It looked so painful, but
the baby has to be so mad. They're like, "Y'all, I'm so comfy. Stop pushing on
yes.
me."
Yeah, my doctor did tell me that it makes the baby a little mad. So
I would think so. I'd be mad.
But someone sent me this website called Spinning Babies, and so it has some like different exercises that you can do if your baby's breech. And so my husband helped me do a couple of them a couple nights ago, and it was hilarious. Like I literally like propped up an ironing board from the floor to my couch, and I laid on it.
Oh gosh, like a ramp?
Yes, like a ramp. I laid on it with my head down for 20 minutes. And I was like, am I really doing this? Yes, I'm really laying on an ironing board in my living room watching TV kind of upside down and sideways with my husband.
Trying to get this baby to move.
Trying to give her some room to turn.
Oh.
So,
do you have a name picked out?
We do have a name, and we always hold it close until the birth just to leave something special. And also my main reason is I don't want to know people's opinions.
Of course not, because we're like,
Yeah.
I had an aunt named that once.
Yes.
Or that's my dog's name.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. Yes.
Okay, well, at the end of the show, I'll tell you the name because she'll be here.
Yes.
And so when at the end, when I just talk without you, I'll let everyone know what you named your baby.
For sure. Awesome. That would be perfect.
We do y'all pick names because like it has like a strong biblical name or it's a family name? We just pick names we like. Like that's what we do here.
All of your kids have great names.
I love my kids' names, but they're all just like, oh, that's a great name. Like not many meaning. Yeah.
Yeah. No, we just liked we thought Jackson Jones just sounded really strong.
It does.
And his middle name is for his daddy. It's Jackson Curtis.
Okay.
But one day he was like, "Why didn't y'all name me a biblical name?" We're like, "What?" But he listed out all of his friends with Bible names, and there was like a lot of them. So he felt left out. So it was like, we were like, that was a parenting fail.
That's so funny that he would notice.
I know, isn't that hilarious?
What a pastor's kid.
Oh my gosh. And then our daughter, Annabeth, is the Beth part, is to honor my mom.
Okay.
So Yeah, so that was definitely family
Yeah,
oriented.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
This one is just because I like it and I think it's pretty.
okay. Well, I cannot wait to know.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're having a baby, and then it's going to be Christmas.
Yep. It will be
What does
Christmas.
Christmas look like for your family? Do y'all travel? Do you do big stuff? How do you do gifts? Tell me everything you do for Christmas.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're just kind of a traditional family as far as the way we do gifts and stuff. Like, um, we don't do like really super spiritual stuff around Christmas. Like, I didn't grow up doing like Advent stuff, so I haven't really gotten too into that in my adulthood. But we
Well, can
enjoy
I tell
Christmas
you
so
real quick that we do the Advent, the little things on the tree,
yeah.
but we've never done all of them. Like
Okay. You've
we
never
get
made
to
it all the
like no, we get to like 12, and then we skip 7. I mean,
yeah.
it's an I feel like a failure every Christmas, and I just have to live in the grace, that
You have to live in the grace.
next year we'll probably get to some of them that we didn't do the year before. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
sure. Yeah. So, but my husband is like Clark Griswold, and as far as like he gets really into putting the lights on the house.
Okay.
So he will start his plan. He'll start making a plan like before Thanksgiving,
Okay, this
and
cracks me
then
up.
yes. So and it'll take him like a number of days. So he'll kind of complete phase one, ideally like Thanksgiving night, and then it will continue to be added to for the next week.
Okay, when you
And
say plan, we're not just putting some lights around the mantle or
no,
around the edge of the
what the
house.
front of the house is going to look like.
Okay.
Yeah, so he changes it every year, and he really loves to do that. So, and then one of our family traditions is we always love to drive around and look at lights in different parts of town. So,
And then your husband makes plans for next year by what he
yeah,
sees.
yeah, especially when we're in River Oaks,
He's like, oh,
you
I'm going
know,
to do that next year.
yes.
Oh,
So,
my kids beg us every year to put Christmas lights on our house. And
do you not do it?
no, I mean, I never grew up putting Christmas lights on our house. I don't think
Really?
Aaron did either. To me, I'm like, guys, this is such a waste. Look at me. I'm like a lame mom. Literally,
No.
one of my
Well, you're
kids,
doing Advent. You're like,
well, half of it.
you're focusing on the godly stuff.
Half of the days of Advent we get through. But
Yeah.
we're gonna surprise our kids, especially my son Amos. I think that he and I should be a better mom about this because he just wants like extreme of everything. And
Okay.
I'm such a minimalist, like, why would we need to do that? And then
Sure.
I'll be like, look, I can put lights up or buy you another gift. What do you want? Choose one.
Yeah.
I'm like such a mean mom. But I should surprise him one year and just put lights up when he comes up one
Yeah.
day because he would
You
really like
should
that.
you should just let them like do it, like give them some
Okay,
strands and
that's a
see
good
what they do
idea.
in the bushes.
That's a great idea because we like have given them lights that go in their room and stuff. I should just
Yeah.
give them a box because half of it is the work. I mean, let's be honest. I don't want to do that. So I should
Yeah.
let them do it.
Yep.
The
That
na-
would be amazing. I want to see a picture of that.
the neighbors would love that. They would
Yes.
probably want to like go by the bit. Do y'all do the blow up things too?
Oh, no. No,
Okay.
we have not done
I wouldn't make fun of you if you did. I was just saying
those.
my kids would probably love that.
They would probably really love that.
Do y'all travel either Thanksgiving or Christmas? Because I know you have family
Yes.
in Missouri, but what is that going to look like
Yeah.
this year?
Well, normally we go after Christmas for at least a week up to Missouri to see my husband's family, and it's usually really cold and more Christmas weather than Houston, so that's pretty fun. And we enjoy having that time under my in-laws' roof, and it's
Yeah.
just a great time with family. But this year, just with we'll have a little baby. My in-laws are going to come down and do Christmas with us here, and so I will get to have my in-laws and my parents and everyone all together on Christmas Day
Do
at
you
my
love
mom's
that?
house. Yeah, we're really
Ah,
excited. So it's kind of a 1 year thing.
is it at your house?
Oh no,
Okay, I was
no,
like,
no,
that's a lot of work, Amanda.
no. That will be at my mother's house.
Okay,
So
good, good.
I do. I'm bringing you the grandchildren, and
Right, you handle the rest.
yeah, and everyone's lucky if I'm able to buy a few presents for them. So
You get a
I
buy. Let's just be honest.
oh man. So
The Jones family this year gets a big buy when you have a
well,
new one.
yeah, yeah. So we're definitely going to take it a little easier this year.
Okay, that's wonderful. We do well. All of my family lives in Texas, and so we usually do something like a couple weekends before Christmas.
Oh, okay.
And then I don't know if this is like y'all's church what we do, but Aaron always works Christmas Eve. I think since we've
Oh,
lived here, he's had one Christmas Eve off, and
wow.
so our Christmas Eve traditions changed drastically when we moved here. Like
Sure.
we used to like make homemade cookies and homemade pizza and just do all this fun stuff as a family.
Yeah.
And now I just take the kids to New Year to Christmas Eve service. Now that they're
Yep.
older, they'll probably will be awake when Aaron gets home. But before that, it was like I take them to service and then put them to bed. It was kind of like
Yeah.
one of those like sacrifice things, that we talked about
Sure.
earlier. But
Yep.
we have fun on Christmas Day. We've kind of I hope none of my family's offended by this, but we've kind of wanted to just do our thing on Christmas
Sure.
Day, and we always go see Elf.
Oh, that's
We
awesome.
go to the Alamo Draft House, and it's
Do
like
they
a
play it every
they
year?
play it every year. They do these things called quote-alongs, and
Oh,
it is
I'm totally doing
so
that.
fun. Our kids love it. You get like not what am I? They give you things to hold and shake. What you would call
Oh my
like a
gosh.
prop. They give you these props, and it's so much fun. So we go every year, and we've been bringing like there's there's some tons of like people on staff that don't have family
Yeah,
around, so they'll join us for dinner, and now they're
that's
joining us
awesome.
for Elf. It's a lot of fun.
So you do that on Christmas Eve?
We do it on Christmas Day. That's
On
Christmas
Christmas,
Day.
oh, on Christmas Day. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
which is even
How
crazier.
fun.
Yeah, I grew up that when as my brother and I got older, we usually would go see a movie on Christmas Day.
Oh, we totally did that growing up.
Yeah, like
Like,
they always have
with,
new releases.
yeah, with the whole extended family, we used to do that.
Yeah,
And that was so much fun. I
yeah.
love that. That
I,
is such a fun idea.
yeah, so now we do Elf, and I mean, this will be like the fourth year. I guess it's just a tradition now. I guess you call that a tradition.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm an Aggie, so anything that you do like one and a half
That's
times is a
exactly right. You'll call it a
tradition.
tradition. Oh, that's funny. Okay, I always ask my guests, what are three things you're loving right now in your
Okay.
life?
All right. Well, one of the things I am a hot tea drinker. Like
Yes, I
I
know this
love
about
hot tea.
you.
Yes, so I wanted to share for any of your listeners who are also hot tea fans. One thing that I love so much is I have a Breville tea maker. I think it's technically called the Breville One Touch tea maker.
Okay.
And I guess like 3 years ago this Christmas, a bunch of my girlfriends pitched in and got it for me because it's kind of expensive.
Yeah.
But it's really fun. It uses loose leaf tea, and it makes tea making really easy and pretty fun. So
So have you always been a tea drinker? Because I like cold tea,
you like cold
like
tea?
iced tea. Yeah.
Sure. Uh,
And I like coffee. Um,
yep.
so I think I would probably like tea, right?
Well, I don't know, but if I made it for you, you might like
Because you're a
it.
tea connoisseur. Yes.
I think in America we really don't know how to make it very well. I think
Okay.
we like make the common mistake of leaving the tea bag in the cup, and you're supposed to take it out after a couple minutes.
Because
Um,
did you fall in love with tea? Did I read this one time, actually overseas?
yes, we did a 5 month term in England before we had kids. We went over there and did some like volunteer youth ministry basically. And so before we went, I knew that they love tea and I wanted to be like culturally appropriate.
Right.
So I trained myself to like tea. Now I have to use a lot of milk and sugar to like it. I like to drink black tea. So what was funny is whenever we got over there, I was always offered coffee instead of tea. But anyway, that was because I was an American, and
Right.
actually they do drink a lot of coffee there. But I don't like coffee. I wish I did, and I've always felt like
Yeah.
deficient socially because I
I
don't drink
know. You
coffee.
do feel that way. What? You don't drink coffee?
Yeah,
What's wrong
like
with
you're
you?
not. How could you be a grown up?
Right. I didn't
So,
start drinking coffee until child number two came along.
oh,
I
okay.
was like a social coffee drinker. Like if we were at an event and they're like, here's dessert and coffee, I would kind of like put a lot of milk and a lot of sugar in it and down it.
Yes.
But then second kid, I started drinking it, and now I drink 2 cups every day.
Yeah. Do you love it?
I do love it, and now I drink it black, which is a new thing for me.
Oh,
I know. I did Whole 30 in the spring, and you can't have
oh,
anything good,
sure.
and so I had to drink my coffee black, and I've been doing it ever since. So I actually feel
When,
like a real grown up now.
when do you have your coffee?
I make a cup that I drink with me on the way to taking kids to school.
Okay.
So like usually like that's like 7:15, and then I get
Yeah.
home and usually start work. And so if I'm like I made a cup right before I sat down to call you like 9:30.
Yeah.
So I'll usually have
Yeah.
another one about that time.
Okay. Yeah.
I just feel like I need it in the car when I take the kids to school, and when I'm talking to someone for the podcast, I feel like I need one too. Like, I don't know. It's just a lot of it's habit.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it. Those rituals are comforting.
Yes, I could be an Aggie,
Yes, you could be,
but I'm not.
but not in. You probably wouldn't have as much fun in Austin.
I
You're probably
know.
having more fun as a Longhorn in Austin, I would guess.
Yes. Okay, so the tea maker. What's your second thing you're
Okay.
loving?
My second thing is another item that my friends pitched in and got me.
You have great friends, by the way.
I do. I have the best friends in the
Shout
whole
out
world.
to all your friends. They're awesome.
Big time. Yes. So my grandfather died in May, and I spoke at his like little funeral service, and I talked about how much my grandfather loved Ireland, and he loved St. Patrick's Day and all of this. So they gave me a really pretty Kendra Scott necklace that is the stone is green, and it was just like in honor of my grandfather. And
Aw.
so it's called the Kendra Scott Rain Necklace in Green, and it's like a real long one, and it has a tassel below it, and so I love to play with it whenever I'm wearing it. But I have really enjoyed just wearing that and thinking of my grandfather, and also thinking of how loved I am by my friends.
I was gonna say it's like double whammy. You think of your grandpa and think of your friends.
And plus it's pretty.
Yeah. Is Kendra Scott located here in Austin?
Like their headquarters?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I don't know either. I just know a lot of people. Well, I should not speak on this because I don't know. I don't own anything Kendra Scott, but I have a lot of girlfriends that do. And for some reason, I thought it was here in Austin. But
it might be. I don't know the answer to that. I know we have a store in Houston, but I don't know where they started out.
Okay, we'll have to find out where old Kendra Scott lives.
Have to do some research.
I'll do some research. Okay, so what's your third thing?
Okay, my third thing, my pregnancy craving right now is ice. Like I just want ice, and I want to chew ice all the time, which I have been told might be an iron deficiency problem. I don't even know.
Oh, gosh.
But we won't get into that.
No.
But like a couple weeks ago went to Sonic, and I was like, I need a bag of ice, and I just finished it yesterday.
So you can go to Sonic and ask for a bag of ice?
You can buy a bag of ice at Sonic. Yes, it's awesome.
Wow.
So
and then you just throw it in your freezer.
Yes. For anyone who doesn't have the benefit of Sonic near their home, it's like little pellets of ice, like little pebble ice. So
I'm glad you said that because I'm like, surely everyone in the world knows about Sonic.
I know.
But maybe not.
It's unfortunate.
But they have the best ice.
They do. They really have great ice. So
okay, so you're craving ice.
Yep.
I'm sure that's great on your teeth too, Amanda.
It's horrible. I have one tooth that's like sore all the time. It's so bad.
Oh, but you got to do what you got to do.
I need the baby to come soon so that I don't crack all my teeth.
Oh my gosh. Did any of your kids come early, your other two?
No.
Okay.
No.
So you're thinking you're going all the way to the finish.
I will probably go all the way to the finish, Lord willing.
Yeah. Okay. All right. What are you reading right now?
Okay.
You sound like a reader because you've mentioned several books in the show.
So you know what's hilarious is I'm actually not a great reader. And I get books sent to me from publishers a lot. And I'm always like, oh man, y'all have the wrong girl. Because I really love fiction. I haven't read any fiction in a while. But I do need books, from time to time or often. And so, but I just read, my mom has a new book called Audacious.
Okay.
And she gave my sister and me the first 2 copies that came, which is really fun. And she always signs them for us. So I read that one, and it's kind of her, like, she got to thinking, if I had one more message to give in my life, like, what would I say?
Oh, wow.
And so it's basically about audacious love for Jesus. And it's just so it's just so her heart. So I enjoyed reading that a whole lot.
When I read books by authors that I actually know, like I'm reading For the Love by Jen Hatmaker, I read it in her voice. Or when I read Jenny's book, I read it in her voice. Or Annie Downs. Do you do that with your mom?
Totally. Yes. Yeah.
It makes it so much better.
It's fun.
Yeah. Okay,
it's
I
really
do that
fun.
as well. When I do that, I think I want to have a conversation with every author so that then when I read their books, I can hear their voices.
Yes. And what's fun about knowing an author like really well is like you can text them like, oh my gosh, I just read this. This was so awesome what you said. Or, I just laughed so hard, or you just made me cry with whatever story.
Right.
So that's a really fun thing about knowing some authors.
Do you ever read anything before your mom puts it out?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yes. This one, actually, she wrote this one like in secret.
That's hilarious.
She didn't tell our family that she was writing it until it was done.
Why?
Like my sister knew because my sister works for her,
Uh-huh.
but she didn't. She knew that we would tell her that she was crazy because her schedule's been so crazy lately.
Okay, yeah.
So she kept it on the DL.
You're like,
But
you're right, Mom. We would have told you that. But this is a
yeah,
great book. Way to go.
I know. But I worked for her for 8 years, and so my eyes were often the first eyes to see that some of the things that she wrote. And I loved to give her feedback or
Yeah.
do, some copy editing for her or whatever.
I'm the worst at feedback. I always tell friends, like, if I'm like teaching something, I'll never teach it unless people have seen it. Like that, just because I'll get up there and say something awful, you know? So,
Okay.
but whenever someone sends me their stuff to read, or like you, I'll get a book and they'll be like, hey, can you read this?
Yeah.
I am the worst person to do this. I probably shouldn't say this or no one will send me their stuff anymore because here's what I do. I think everything is awesome.
Yeah.
I think that I'm so proud of you because of the work you put into this. And I think
Yeah.
it's wonderful. Like I cannot give feedback
Do you know
well.
those authors, they need to hear that. That
So that's what I
definitely.
am for them. I'm the positive
Yeah. You're
experience.
the
And I'm
cheerleader.
the cheerleader. Someone else can tell them that this paragraph doesn't make sense. But
Yes.
me, I'm going to tell them that I'm proud of them.
Oh, yeah. I think that's so important. I think it's really hard for authors. Like, they write this and then they have such a delay between
Yes.
when anyone really sees it and can give them feedback. And I think that lag time is difficult, especially when we're all used to putting out a blog post and getting immediate comments or
Yeah.
Twitter, whatever. So I think that it serves a huge purpose, just encouraging those authors to keep
Good. I'm going to be a
going.
cheerleader.
Yeah.
Um, okay. So you read that book. Oh,
Yes. And
I
right
had a question in my
now,
head. I'm sorry. I'm going to go
okay.
back to this. Someone asked me the other day. They're like, because Aaron's been speaking at church with his worship leaders, and he's like, do you read his stuff before he teaches? And I'm like, no, I never do. Do you read Curtis's stuff before he preaches?
Oh, no, we don't even talk about it.
Okay.
Because we learned that, like, if he starts telling me what he's going to preach on, I'll be like, well, are you sure? But he knows what he's doing, but I like sometimes like I poke holes in things and I don't, it's
You're
just
not
better.
helpful.
No, I'm not helpful in any way. So it's a surprise to me
I love
when
that.
I'm there on Sunday morning and I get to hear him, and he's awesome. I love to hear him.
Okay. I always wonder if people go over stuff before. I would probably be the same way with Aaron, and that might be why he doesn't bring anything to me before.
Yeah. I think you'd have to ask Deborah Parker, but I think like when Ernest preaches sometimes that he will like preach his whole sermon to her,
Oh gosh.
like, in practice.
Uh-huh.
I think he
I will
told me that.
practice teaching in my room by myself.
Sure.
But I think I would be I don't know why. Aaron loves me. He's my biggest cheerleader, but I think it
Yeah.
would be really hard for me to stand there with just him.
Yes. Yeah. It's
Good
such
for
a weird
Ernest.
thing. I
Okay,
know.
so you read that book by your
Uh-huh.
mom. Anything
Yes.
else?
Right now I am doing a Bible study by Priscilla Shire,
Mm-hmm.
called The Armor of God, and it's awesome.
Have you seen her movie?
Yes. Well, my
Because your
mom
mom's
is
in
in it.
it. I totally forgot that. I haven't seen it. So
Yes,
your
it's
mom's in it? Like, does she talk?
she talks. Well, what's hilarious is that she told us she's in it for 2 minutes, but
Okay.
then Melissa and I went to the premiere in Dallas with her,
Uh-huh.
which was a lot of fun. And actually, she was on it for like 30 seconds, and she was like, "I've lied to everyone."
Like you blink and then you might have missed her.
Yeah, yeah, totally. So
Oh,
she
that's
is.
wonderful.
She has a really tiny role, but it was. They had a lot of fun. I think she only was up there filming for like one day, but she loves Priscilla so much.
Aw. My
Um,
friend Winter Pitts, her daughter.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh gosh. Her daughter's adorable and so talented.
I love, she was on my show this summer and telling us about that story about how she got it and everything. It's just amazing.
That's awesome. I need to go back and listen to that
Yeah.
one.
I love Winter. We met on our trip to Uganda. Okay, so Priscilla's Bible study. Anything
Uh-huh.
else?
That's it for now.
That's it. So you need a fiction book in your life, you said.
I do. I do need a fiction.
Okay, I've read a handful of fiction books this year that I really like. Let's see. The Husband's Secret, and then one more by this Lion Mority woman that I read too that I really liked, and it is called, I can't find it.
Okay.
I'll think of it. But
Did the husband's secret, did that make you feel paranoid that your husband had a secret?
no, because it's kind of, it's not like, no,
Okay.
no, it didn't. Although
Okay.
I would be the one in my life that would think that, like, that he had a secret. Because
Yeah.
here's a story. I'm going to finish with this. This is a story about it's how crazy I am. Okay. So one time Aaron was out of town and I promised to goodness that I did not go through his stuff, but one of
Okay.
his journals like fell on the ground. I know it sounds shady, but it really
Oh.
happened like this. And so, and he's a journaler. I'm not. Like, I don't write stuff down. He
Like
does.
he writes it all out.
Yeah, yeah. So it fell on the ground, open. I mean, it's like a movie, and I pick it up, and I'm like, and I
Yeah.
start reading it because I'm nosy like that. And it fell on the ground, so I had to. I mean, I just, whatever. So I start reading it, Amanda, and he is talking about this nicotine in his life that's like a cancer to his body.
Oh.
And has been struggling with this for so many years. And I'm reading it and I'm like, my husband is a smoker. He
And you
he's,
don't even know.
and I don't even know it. I mean, we've been married.
He's hiding it really well.
He's hiding it. We've been married for 10 years and he is addicted to nicotine and I don't know. And so I kid you not, I closed the journal. I went to his closet. I got up a stool. I went through every bag, every suitcase. This is crazy woman stuff. I go
That's
in the
awesome.
garage. I'm going through stuff because I'm convinced that he's hiding like Marlboro cigarettes throughout the whole house. And in the middle of the night, he's like chain smoking. Nothing against smoking if people want to do it. I was just like, so he comes home and I texted my girlfriend. I'm like, I didn't tell her what, but I was like, I just read a big secret in Aaron's journal and I don't know what, I feel like he's been lying to me forever.
For 10 years.
So dramatic. So she's completely worried that my marriage is falling apart. So Aaron gets home. I'm like, I need to talk to you. I sit him on the couch and I have his journal and I said, I read something in your journal today that I want to talk to you about. And he gets I'm sure he's like, what the heck is happening here?
Oh my gosh.
And so I open the book and I tell him and I'm like, tell me the truth. Like, are you a smoker? And he was like, Jamie, it's like it's like I was just using a word like sin is like this nicotine in my body. And I mean, he's a songwriter. He's an artist. He's creative.
It was figurative.
It was so figurative. And he's like, it's just like the sin that I want God to deal with. And it's like cancer. And I'm
oh
like,
man.
I mean, we for a moment, I was like, I feel really glad that
Yes.
that I can trust you. But then I
Yes.
felt really stupid.
Did y'all laugh?
Oh, we laughed.
Okay.
Yeah. He actually was looking at me like, you're a crazy woman. When I told him I searched the entire house for cigarettes, he was like, there's something wrong with you.
Oh
You
my
think I could be a
gosh.
smoker for 10 years and you don't know it?
That's hilarious.
It was so funny. But no, the husband secret did not make me feel like he had a secret. It's just
Okay.
it's a very easy read and about
Okay.
this little village that goes through stuff. Not village, town, whatever.
All right. I'm
And they're
writing
all
it
set in
down.
Australia. So that's kind of
Okay.
fun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I wrote that down, so I'll look into that.
There it is. There it is. Okay. Well, I love what you're reading. I love what you're loving. Thank you for sharing your intimate struggle that you went through. So, seriously, that's people. I mean, people will be encouraged and inspired by that for sure.
I hope so.
So, thank you
Well,
for sharing that and being vulnerable.
Thank you for listening to all of my many words about it.
I love them and I understand. Although we never walked that road, we've gone through grief in our life too. So, yeah.
Yes.
So
Yep.
wonderful. Well, and like I tell everybody that's listening every time, any links we talked about, any books, they'll be all up in the show notes. And I will also tell you guys in a few minutes what Amanda named her baby, because when this comes out, the baby will be here.
Awesome.
And I can't wait.
That's
So,
awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you, Amanda. Have a great day.
Okay, you too. Bye-bye.
Guys, I hope you enjoyed Amanda as much as I did. Her ability to draw wisdom and strength from such a painful circumstance was so inspiring for me, and I hope that it was that way for you as well. I told you that I was going to let you know about her baby, and she had her baby about 6 weeks ago, and her name is Willow Rose Jones. Is that not just the most beautiful name you've ever heard? I think she's going to be like a beautiful singer one day. Willow Rose Jones. Guys, today's show is also sponsored by She Does Justice. She Does Justice is a lifestyle brand selling teas and accessories for women who are passionate about giving back. Shopping with She Does Justice gives you a simple, tangible way to give back to a cause that you care about. Each month, 10% of She Does Justice's gross sales go towards 5 different initiatives. Those are supporting adoption, empowering young women, healthcare in Africa, orphan prevention, and fighting sex trafficking. The best part about all of that is that you get to choose where the portion of your purchase goes. You're empowered to make a difference right from your computer. We're excited to offer all Happy Hour listeners free shipping with promo code HAPPYHOUR and hope that you'll join us in making a difference today. As usual, any books that we talked about on the Happy Hour, you're going to be able to find them at jamieivey.com/happyhourbooks. Great way to just stock up on your reading for this winter, for the holidays. Remember also, everything we chat about is going to be up on my website, jamieivey.com, and I'd love to hear from you. Find me on Twitter. I'm at Jamie_Ivey. Or on Instagram or Facebook, it's just Jamie Ivey, and share with me something that you love from this episode. I love hearing your feedback on what you loved, and I know Amanda would love to hear from you as well. Today's show is edited by Knox McCoy, and the music is from Austin Stone Worship's A Day of Glory Christmas album that you can find on iTunes. Next week, my guest is my friend Sarah Bessie, who has a beautiful story about her pregnancy with her last baby and has such great perspective on being a great mama. Guys, enjoy your week. Share this show with a girlfriend and have a happy hour with a friend. I will see you guys next week with my friend Sarah Bessie. Bye.